All right, welcome back to Labs with Miss Mardoyan. Today we are going to do the up and away lab. So what I have for the up and away lab is as follows. I have my balance, my baking soda, my sodium bicarbonate, a weigh boat with a scopula to grab the chemical to put into the weigh boat to measure. I have 4 balloons, which I'm going to be placing my different amounts of baking soda, sodium bicarbonate into using the funnel to help get the chemicals into the balloons. And then I have 4 test tubes with my test tube rack and vinegar with our graduated cylinder to measure 10 milliliters of vinegar. So we're going to start by getting the 10 milliliters of vinegar. So I take my graduated cylinder and I am going to place 10 milliliters of vinegar in each test tube. So let's take a moment. Let's get our first set of 10 milliliters. I am using a pipette just so there's no spillage. That smell of vinegar, gotta love it. All right, so there I make sure my meniscus is right under, above, and on that 10 milliliter line. And I put my first 10 milliliters into the first test tube. And now I go on to my next test tube. Again, 10 milliliters of vinegar. So every single test tube has 10 milliliters of vinegar. So while I'm filling these up, let's talk about what we're going to be doing next. After this, we are going to be measuring 4 different amounts of sodium bicarbonate, which is our baking soda. Those 4 amounts are going to be increments. So 0.35, 0.18, then 0.35, then 0.70, and then 1.4. So they're about increments multiplying by 2. And then we're going to put the chemical into the balloons. And then we're going to lift the balloon so that the chemicals inside the balloons can react with our vinegar. Now, again, we're taking sodium bicarbonate, baking soda, and reacting it with some type of vinegar, which is an acid. As our last lab showed us, vinegar and sodium bicarbonate, baking soda, does create some bubbles. And so then we are going to see that our balloons are going to be, since they're sealed on our test tubes, collecting the gas that is created from the reaction of sodium bicarbonate and vinegar. It is carbon dioxide gas. And with that, we are going to be able to visually, qualitatively determine, the goal is to qualitatively determine which test tubes or test tube that I show you has the limiting reactant of sodium bicarbonate or the limiting reactant of vinegar, or are there test tubes where we have the perfect combination of vinegar and the sodium bicarbonate. So we're going to be doing a visual limiting reactant lab here, limiting and excess reactant lab. So here's our 4 test tubes. So now it goes to our balance. Okay, so on our balance, I'm going to turn it on. We have our sodium bicarbonate chemical here. We start by pushing the 0 button to make it stay at 0. We put our weigh boat on. We're going to push this 0 again. So it goes to 0 with the weigh boat on it. Our first balloon amount of baking soda is going to be 0.18. Oh, that is way too much. Already, it's not a lot. It is a tiny amount. 0.46. Okay, here's 0.12. 0.15. I forgot how little it is. 0.16. 0.17, 0.18. All right, so that is 0.18. So in my balloon that I have labeled 1, I'm going to add the funnel onto it, and then I'm going to pour the chemicals into the balloons through the funnel. Okay, and then I shake it, tap it, and I can feel that the solid is inside the bottom of this balloon. Okay, and take the funnel off. So in balloon number 1, I got 0.18 grams of baking soda. I'm going to put that over to the side. For balloon number 2, I'm going to zero the balance, put my wave boat on, zero it again. Now I need 0.35. Okay, we'll go a little slower this time. That's 0.12. Oh, there you go. Oh, 0.36. We need 0.35. There we go. 0.35. I take balloon number 2 and I add my funnel onto my balloon, and I take the chemical and I pour the chemical into my funnel. Great. Okay, so now this balloon number 2 has 0.35. I'm going to put that to the side. Next, 0.70 for balloon number 3. Okay, 0.66, 0.67. Oh, a little too much. All right. There we go, 0.70. I get balloon number 3. I put my funnel onto it. Take my solid, my 0.70, and pour that into my balloon. All right, and in balloon number 3, I got 0.70 grams. And lastly, I need balloon number 4, which is 1.4. 1.40, we're close. There we go, 1.40. Close my chemical since I'm done with it. Let me get balloon number 4 on. All right, take my chemical, the 1.4 grams, and pour that into my balloon. Make sure it all gets in there. Take that off. And in balloon number 4, I got 1.4 grams. Okay, turn our balance off. That. Put it over here. Our way. All right, now we focus on our test tubes. So what I'm going to do now is I have my 4 balloons and my 4 test tubes. I'm going to place the balloon on top of the test tube without letting the chemical that is inside this balloon fall into the test tube. Okay, so that's why it's the chemicals down here and then the balloon's connected. So let me get balloon number 2. These are in order. That's balloon 2, that's balloon 1. You can see the numbers kinda. Here's balloon number 3. The more secure, the better. And here is balloon number 4. Okay, you make sure that they're really secured on there. So all the chemicals right now are sitting in the bottom of these balloons. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna lift them. That's why it's called up, up, and away, because we're gonna let the balloons go up, up, and away. When I lift these balloons, the sodium bicarbonate, the baking soda inside the balloons, and the vinegar, the 10 milliliters vinegar, are going to mix together. And when they mix together, you are going to then see that reaction occur. And the reaction is creating carbon dioxide along with some other material. So here we go. Balloon 1, you can see the chemicals start to get reacting. Balloon 2, balloon 3, and balloon 4. All right, so we let them go. this one over just a little bit. Looks like my balloon 4 has a hole in it. That's a problem. So while we watch the other balloons, I'm going to get a balloon number 4 again so that it doesn't have a hole in it, because that will affect our results. If right now gas is being released, it doesn't allow us to have an accurate depiction. So let's see if it ends up working out for us. It's okay. Let me lift this so you can see the balloons. So they're in order: 1 on the left, 2, 3, 4. Okay. Now we just gotta kind of wait it out and let all the balloons react, let the chemicals react. Number 4, we're gonna actually just take away, and we're gonna redo that one because we don't want what it's like right now. It's releasing its gas, and that's just because sometimes balloons have holes in them. We make it work, get a new one. All right. All good. So I'm gonna put balloon number 4 back for you guys to see. Hopefully this one. There we go. Okay, so we have balloon 1, 2, 3, and 4. So now 4 is reacting again. There's no bubble. I'm just going to shake this up a little bit. As you can see, there's still bubbles forming. There's also some, you see the bottom, there's some baking soda that's still reacting. So sometimes you just got to shake it up. Number 4 as well. Another shake here. See those bubbles, so you can see that the reaction's still taking place. At the bottom, it's coming from the baking soda at the bottom with the vinegar on top. Shake it up. Shake it. It is getting quite cold as well. Just a side note on temperature. Now I'm not shaking balloons 1 and 2 because you can see that their bubbling stopped, but you can see in balloon 3 and 4, there's still bubbling going on. So to move the process along, you shake it so that you get that reaction to take place. Final shake with this one. All right, the final shake of this one. Okay. Okay, so what you are going to do is you are going to look at each one of these test tubes. Here's test tube 1, 2, 3, and 4, and you are going to make observations of, based on what you visually are seeing, based on the reactions that you just watched, which chemical, if any, could potentially be, or do you think is, the limiting reactant? And which chemical do you think is the excess reactant? Or is there no limiting and excess reactant because the reaction happened perfectly? How do you know? Why do you think, if in test tube 1 you think the vinegar is the limiting reactant, why do you think that? Or if you think it's the excess, why do you think? Or if you think it's a perfect reaction and there's no limiting and excess reactant, Why do you think that is? And then after you do the how do you know, I want you to then say, in the last row of the chart is, what could we do to test if your limiting and excess reactant is truly correct? Okay, so what could we do experimentally? So I'm going to give you a look again. Here's balloons 1, 2, 3, and 4, so you can see the size of them. You can see that in test tubes 1, 2, and 3, there is no, they're pretty much all done reacting, in test tube 4 as well, but there's something left at the bottom of test tube 4, so be aware of that as well. Okay, and I'm going to take this back, and there is our reaction. All right, go ahead and go complete your chart.